Accuracy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Raid and Aaron. We are back at it again for another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. Oh man, itchy back. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna jump into it. We're still in the bear market. We've got a good topic today. It's gonna be the current battleground from a Bitcoin standard perspective, because I have a Bitcoin standard that I've implemented with my finances. Not as extreme as some, not as weak as others, but I am Bitcoin first. So I'm going to give my breakdown, do an update on where we're at. Before we get into it, I want to ask that you guys hit a like, give me a like for the algorithm. Secondly, those of you who are on mobile devices, down at the bottom, if you scroll to the right a little bit, or they may have moved it to where it's directly in your face right now, there's a little hype button. Hype me up a little bit. Get me out into the algorithm. Let's push the videos. Secondly, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thirdly, feel free to tap in with me down in the comments. I actually read them and respond to every single one. And with the current schedule that I've got for myself for content creation, I will be tapped in every few days. And every time I do an upload, I check my comments and I respond. Last but not least, share the video. Also helps get me out into the algorithm. So that's all we've got for that. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. I am going to micro machine myself. We're going to jump into it. We're going to give a shout out to CoinGecko for this wealth of information that we reference every single episode, and also where I personally track my crypto portfolio holdings. First and foremost, Bitcoin is sitting at $68,945.02 at the time of the recording. Ethereum followed up with $2,022.99, just barely hanging on $2,000. That's putting Bitcoin dominance at 57%, Ethereum dominance at 10.1%, with gas fees at 0.04 Gwei. Great time to be trading or making moves or doing stuff on Ethereum. The fees are low, astronomically low, great low. Why are we using layer 2 low? Anyways, moving on. Top 3 trending coins at the time of recording. At number 1 is layer 0. At number 2, Bitcoin. And at number 3, Pudgy Penguins. I tell you what, it's pretty solid. A little bit of meme in there with the Pudgy Penguins, but Bitcoin, you guys are still being focused, head in the game. I like it. Moving on, we're going to talk about the top 5 gainers and losers. We always start with the gainers, and I want to say I hope that you guys all get to bask in the glory of being and having your token on this list. It feels good, but I hope that it's not just a double-digit gain. I hope it's a triple or greater bagger. I want some X's, some zeros, some generational wealth, some instantly change your life wins for you, for those of you in the wolf pack, for those of you who rock with me over here. If you're playing in the alts, I hope you at least win at it. I hope you at least get to taste the victory, you know? So at number 1, we've got at rank 529, Grey Hunt, with a gain of 83.1%. At number 2, we have it ranked 320, Power Protocol, with a gain of 48.9%. At number 3, we have it ranked 354, Islamic Coin, with a gain of 28.8%. At number 4, we have it ranked 115, Pippin, with a gain of 34.9%. Last but not least, rounding out the list at number 5, we have it ranked 500 585 mined network with a gain of 33.8%, moving right along to the top 5 losers of the day. Now, I hope that if you end up on this list, it is under one of 2 conditions. Condition number 1, you are looking for an entry into a position, and this is presenting you with that option to get in at an extreme discount. Option number 2, you are dollar cost averaging into a position, and this is giving you an opportunity to pick up some extra coinage to get a better buy to bring your cost average down. Outside of that, I don't want you on this list. This isn't where you want to live. Moving on into it, at number 1, we have at rank 410 the white whale with a loss of 30.6%. At number 2, we have at rank 779 Buttcoin with a loss of 24% even. That's awesome. I like even numbers. At number 3, we have at rank 435 Go Plus Security with a loss of 23.1%. At number 4, we have at rank 454 Zama with a loss of 23.1% as well. And last but not least, at number 5, we have it ranked 664 Warden with a loss of 18.9%. That's going to round out our list, people. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the business. We're going to go there. Bringing up the reserves. Where are we at? We're down 1.9% on the day with a total loss of 30.2%. Sweet home Alabama. Ouch. Not great. Not great. Numbers go down, and this puts us in a buy range. I mean, there's really not much to talk about with this. It is numbers go down for everybody. So one of the things I always reference when I look at a red day is I like to see what's going on in the other markets, and it was a red day for the S&P 500 as well. You know, that's kind of everything that I need to know. I'm like, okay, so if we're taking hits across the board, obviously Bitcoin taking a little bit of a bigger hit, we're down 1.9%, and the S&P 500 is down 0.33%, which for them is detrimental. Any red number makes people feel bad, but for me, I'm looking towards Friday when I have money come in to buy more Bitcoin. You know, and that's how I'm breaking it down. I did have a couple of notes that I took in regards to what's going on with the market. I'm trying to do this for the people who are into this style of comments. Again, tap in with me down in the comments and let me know, do you like this stuff or do you not? Because it's not necessarily something I follow in general, because I tell people all the time, I do not care what the price is. I'm buying Bitcoin with extra money. It's just a matter of if I'm buying extra or not. Like those are the only questions that I have is, am I buying extra Bitcoin or no? Now, one of the things that we should look for are the key areas that I'm watching. And so basically, I'm started looking at like the major support levels, stuff like that, where we're currently battling it out, which the window, I've always been pretty good at identifying where the window is, because I'll normally do swing buying because I don't sell Bitcoin, so I can't swing trade it. But swing buying within the channel, like it's pretty easy to identify where we're bouncing between. Like Bitcoin's pretty straightforward at giving that bit of information. But the support and the resistance are things that like I really didn't care. I don't care about because I'm going to be holding it for an ad infinitum. The only thing that I do care about is at a certain point when I start leveraging against the new bags that I'm buying now currently, there will be a point to where this will affect my loan to value, but it'll never be over 50%. But considering I'm always buying, it still won't affect me that much unless we have major flash crashes. But let's go ahead and get into what I'm looking at with the key levels here. So our major supports are between 60 and 60,000, or 60 and 61,000. The 200-week moving average zone plus realized price cluster. If this breaks cleanly and holds, we're in full on cyclical reset territory. Now, that's on the low end. We did touch 60. You know, we went down there. I didn't think we were going to go down that low, but we did. It is what it is. So that is the major support right now. 65,000 to 66,000 is a local crash low with a minor horizontal support. Losing this would likely retest the $60,000 floor, which I hope we don't go down there, or if we do, I hope it's literally on Friday, because that's when I get paid and I will be deploying capital into our increased exposure territory. Like that's what I'm looking at as far as that goes for those numbers. Now, currently we're duking it out at between 68 and 70,000. We peaked up above 70,000 for a little bit. We dropped back down. Obviously, as this is being recorded, we are sitting at it just bounced back up to 69. Buys are going in. We've seen MicroStrategy bought like another 1,000 Bitcoin or something like that. Like they just did a large buy. The institutions are buying. Whoever was forced to sell, A, wasn't in the United States, and B, they've run out of Bitcoin to sell. Like after you run out, like you can't tank the market anymore, even if you're offloading loads of Bitcoin. And one of the things we have to bear in mind was there was a lot of Bitcoin being sold. A lot. And the market took it, considering that it was basically somebody was forced selling heavily into the market for 2 weeks straight, basically. Like they were just offloading. We weren't even bouncing. Those weren't even, it wasn't retail that was dumping that. I thought it would be retail. I think every dump's retail, but there was too much of it. Like there's too many people that like are still in the market and were hitting me up wondering what was going on for retail to be like, we sold all that. We did not sell all that. Somebody who'd bought a lot of Bitcoin was forced to sell all or most or a good portion of their position of Bitcoin. There's rumors floating around that it was out of Hong Kong. There was a firm out of Hong Kong that had some trades go bad with gold and silver, which were trading like meme coins. So them having to, liquidate their assets because they blew their fund up speculating on gold and silver, forced them to sell all the Bitcoin that they'd been accumulating. So, whatever it was, we bought it. Somebody bought it. Like you can only sell so much. And then once you run out, it is what it is. And it's back to business as usual, because MicroStrategy and all the other institutions are buying regularly. So it is what it is. We've been duking it out now. We bounced off 60. We're already back up to 70 within the same week. And, basically within the same week. By Friday, we were bouncing back, hit 70 starting off this week. Now the battle seems to be between 68,000 and 70,000. That's where the market's chopping right now. Our overhead resistance is 72,000 to 73,500. We got to get back above that 72 mark. We got to get back above it. And when we get back above that, our former support level, so after we break through the 72, 73.5 territory, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is 75,000 to 76,000, which was our previous support, which is now an additional level of resistance because we got to get back above that. And then once we get back above that, we're clear to go back up to six figures. but we're going to have to see what it is, because right now, the fear and greed index, we are in extreme fear. Now, for those of us, for traders, probably not a good look for y'all, but I'm not here for traders. Over here in the Wolfpack, we are Bitcoin standardites. That's the way that I run my portfolio. That's the way that I run my finances. So having Bitcoin at the foundation, whenever I see extreme fear, I'm buying. I've already started adjusting my income portfolio because I'm like, oh, we're just sitting in extreme fear. Like, you guys gave up. Cool. That's when you start positioning everything. Like, I'm ready to bring the portfolio back into the income portfolios, get ready to get revamped. It's got a little bit more of a Bitcoin focus now. We brought some positions back in. I decided that for February and probably moving forward, I'm running my portfolio as flat as possible, which means I'm not going to be dipping into margin, with the exception of my large expenses, which are my loan for the car and the house improvements and the portfolio funding that we did, because that's $1,600. And that's wrapped up in three things into one thing. So that I will dip into margin for, because I don't leave any cash. And then my mortgage payment, because when it's time to pay the mortgage, I can just pull all that money out. Obviously, I have a 2-month cushion as it sits right now, but I'm pulling that at the end of the month. The SoFi loan gets pulled in the middle of the month. So it's middle of the month and end of the month that I have two major pulls, which obviously will have the Bitcoin kicker on that, because we're technically borrowing money from ourselves. So we've got that. And then outside of the repayment of those and during the window that those are being repaid, we will not tap into the margin for anything except for when we have to pay credit cards. Like, that's the only, when we're managing debt, that's the only thing that's coming out of the account. But I'm going to try to run that as lean as possible and as close to flat as possible, because if we are flat, then I can just take the cash and reinvest it in the income portfolio until it's time to pay. So you're building the portfolio faster. But outside of that, we're really focused on getting over in as much over it as we can into our long-term holdings for that amplified Bitcoin exposure. As we get paid Friday, like, we're at a metric now to where it's like an additional 30% comes out. What was it? 80, 70. An additional 20 to 30%. Because if we're still fighting it out around 70 and we're dipped below 70, then I'm taking additional 30% out of that income for amplified Bitcoin exposure. And, like, realistically, where we're sitting at right now, we're on that mission to get that 10 MicroStrategy shares back this year. We're doing that. ASST has had a reverse split, so that is also a prime target for purchase, and 21 Capital's on sale. So, we've got a lot of optionality going on right now, and I'm here for all of it, because, again, extreme fear, long-term perspective, like, that's when you get positioned on all your stuff. So I'm expecting a good chunk of money going over into the long-term holdings portfolio to deploy, and it's going to be the extra, especially because, like, I'm not at my 10 MicroStrategy yet, so I was planning on buying a share anyways with the prices where they are, but we'll be able to buy a share or two and then also get another good chunk of ASST purchased and get a few shares of XXI purchased, and we'll see where we go. But I'm excited for it. Like, this is the time that I like. Obviously, from a trader's perspective, we are in a bear market. Bear markets are buying markets for people who are on the Bitcoin standard, or look at it as a Bitcoin from a Bitcoin standard perspective, because while everyone else is leaving the market, that's our opportunity to gain an additional foothold, to stack additional sats, to secure our future even better. Because we know, for those of us, especially for myself, I've been in this space for over a decade. I've seen this before. Price goes down, everybody gets out, people capitulate, people get upset, people talk about it's a scam. I buy as much Bitcoin as I can, and then they're going, "Oh, when the tide comes back in, they're not ready. They're going, "Oh, we're coming back after it gets back to six figures." And it's to be like, "Well, you should have been buying at 60. Like, you were given a gift." And you looked at it and said, "No, I don't want it now." And then when it's going to be too late and you're wishing you bought at 60, and we're like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So we'll see how it goes. I'm a continued buyer, obviously, and I'm willing to go to where, because like obviously being fully invested, I'm willing to take up to 50% of those funds and buy additional Bitcoin if that's what it takes, because I'm already getting about 10% that just comes out direct deposit that I look at as what most of you do for your 401k. Actually, it's more than what most of you do for your 401k. So, it's about keeping the focus. It's about being able to navigate these markets, because this is when you get wealthy. This is when your decisions matter most. It doesn't matter when we get back up over 100,000 and everybody's a genius and we're blowing up from there. It's the people who are buying now that are going to get the most benefit. It's the people who are going to buy if we go down to 50. The people who are buying then who are going to get the most benefit when we bounce back up and burst through 100,000 and then get back up and reclaim the previous all-time high of 126. That's who's going to benefit. And then there'll be another shakeout, and the people who start buying heavy on those dips, like when it's less. When Bitcoin costs less, I sell more dollars to buy more Bitcoin so that I can have the Bitcoin, because I can always leverage against it. And then when Bitcoin goes back up, it makes it that much easier to service that loan. You save in the good money, you spend the weak money. Dollars are the weak money. And I'm going to say that every week until it sinks into your head. And yes, I do things to make additional dollars, but the goal there is I also have to go to work to make dollars, because I have to pay my light bill. I got to pay my house payment. All those things require dollars. So I do that and buy extra Bitcoin, and I'm able to manage my stuff. So that way I don't have to work, or so I don't have to go to work and grind my body to dust until I'm 70. Because like that doesn't sound fun to me. It also sounds kind of pointless, considering you're grinding yourself to death in a rigged system. So yeah, we got to find every way to make as much money as we can and retire as early as we can, because realistically, with the way that things are set up in this country right now, there's no point in going to work. Aside from we have to have roofs, we like to eat good food, we like to do fun stuff, drive decent vehicles, and be in comfort. But they've taken away your ability to just save money unless you have a Bitcoin standard. They've taken away your ability to go buy a house and save up to buy a house, unless you're on a Bitcoin standard. Because, I mean, you can buy anything if you're on a Bitcoin standard, because stuff gets cheaper every 4 years. Gets less expensive. But the way that it's set up right now, we're not respected at our jobs. We're underpaid at our jobs. We're not getting raises. They're not giving cost of living raises. We're grinding ourselves to dust so that somebody can live their American dream that isn't afforded to those of us who are the basis of them being able to fulfill that dream. So no, there is no point, unless you really love your job, to continue to go to said job. And I think everybody should be on this path, because until we stop going to work for them, they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand. They're not going to look at us as humans. You are a resource. You are a number. They're not going to care. So if they're not going to care, then like, why should we care? Why shouldn't we put forth the exact same amount of effort, the exact same amount of dedication, the exact same amount of output to figuring out how this money thing works, so that way we can leverage it? Like, you're going to have to go to work for some time, but you don't have to go to work the whole time, and figure out how to get out of that system as soon as possible and not have to be in it. Maybe when we all sit down, we have a legitimate conversation about compensation, how stuff should be working. Hey, you probably need us to do XYZ. The lights won't be on, whatever. And then maybe when America starts experiencing the extreme version of brain drain, because those of us who get it are also just not going to be here. If the world's going to fall apart, I'd rather have a Mai Tai on the beach to watch that. Maybe then they'll start courting the citizens of this country again. You know, like, hey, these people work hard. Hey, we need them for infrastructure. Hey, we want good people who are intelligent to be around. Maybe we should have like some consistent rules for everyone. Like maybe we should have decent environments that are safe. Maybe we shouldn't poison the water. Maybe we shouldn't poison the food. Maybe we should give a quality of life that is actually worth living in the country that's supposed to be the best country in the world. Until we get to that point, until we can sit down at the table and negotiate as citizens with the people that are supposed to represent us that don't right now, everybody needs to be trying to get out of the workforce as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And the kicker for that is it can be really soon if you don't have to exist in this ecosystem. You can go play this game somewhere else. You can make money here and go live somewhere else. A bunch of people do it all the time. Most of our rental properties aren't even owned by other Americans. So yeah, you can definitely make money here and live somewhere less expensive and leverage that. You can get out even faster. And I'm here for it until they start asking for us to come back. Because if you're not going to appreciate the resources that you have, you A, don't deserve them, and B, shouldn't have them. And those people who get that, who actually are overperformers, who are dedicated employees, who are good workers, quit. I think everybody should quit. That's where I'm at right now. Everybody should be trying to get out as fast as possible. And for me, this is the most efficient, first principles based, fastest way for me to get out and not have to be in it. And, you know, leaving the breadcrumbs because I want as many of you to have that ability to do the exact same thing as well. Because if enough of us are gone and all they're left with are knuckle draggers that can't do any better, then, you know, maybe they'll go, hey, you know, those smart guys that were doing these jobs, maybe we shouldn't have treated them the same way that we treat the knuckle draggers. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe we should have appreciated what we had. We'll see. But once everybody's gone, once you start experiencing actual brain drain, which I believe this country will start experiencing that, because I don't think I'm the smartest person. I'm not the smartest tool in the tool shed. And I see it. Which means that there has to be some other people that see it, because I'm just like, why participate in this? If the system's rigged, we're not supposed to be able to have houses. They don't want us to have families. They hate men. So like why be here? Like, why be here? That's going to be the end of my rant, but that's what kind of I'm not even going to say kind of, that's the mission that we're on over here. Is I'm trying to free as many people as possible. Obviously, I know that there's women who watch my channel and watch my show. I can't speak from your perspective. I can't speak to your situations because I'm not a woman. But what I can do is tell you that as a man, it sucks and I don't like it. And considering that they've broken the money and completely just decimated the system and made it so that the stuff that I'm doing, we're not even supposed to be able to do. And it's just like a whole bunch of extra work. Like, you either have to want to be ungodly rich. You got to either want to be out of the matrix from a financial perspective, as in being rich, or you have to be homeless. And everyone in the middle of those two extremes are paying the bill and getting screwed at the same time. So on both ends, both from the governmental perspective and from the work perspective, because people just view us as resources and we are there to fulfill their need to fulfill their dream. Which, you know what? You started the business. It's your business. Great. That is great. It's just you don't deserve good employees. And like, honestly, if that's the mentality that you have, you should fail. You should fail. Like, it's only fair. That's the law of the jungle. Like, if you're that about it and you think you're that much better than the people that you have to have work for you, so that you can go on infinite vacations, so that you can think that you're better than everyone else, then do that. But you better be good at it. You better be able to do the whole job yourself, because, like, in my opinion, I'm like, if you have competent employees dial in on that. And if you're not going to take care of them, if you're going to be the only person at the table eating and everyone else is starving, then you don't deserve competent employees. You deserve all knuckle draggers. And eventually that's what you'll have. So for me, considering that the game's rigged on both ends, I just want out. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's the end goal. Because I'm like, look, I don't want to go bounce from job to job to get treated like crap. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't see the point in it. I don't see the point in participating in a system that needs to dilute the money that I have so that I can't save money in the currency of the country that I live in. That is also stupid. Like, if that's the case, then I need to make all of my income in the most passive, least energy draining way possible, because we're working to death for a system that just wants to perpetuate us working to death. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not participating in that. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Just so I can have some stuff, post some videos on the Instagram, go on vacation once a year and act like I got motion? No. I'm going to tell you about the hour that I put in on my portfolio, and I'll just go to the gym to wear my body out. I'm not going to grind it out for somebody else so that they cannot work hard, so that they cannot sweat, so that they cannot do manual labor. I'm not doing that. So that I get to work and then have bad knees, arms, and whatever else, and then just die? No, not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not participating. I don't think anybody should. I don't think anyone should. Like, honestly, the people who actually work, I mean, even the people who don't work, like, you go to an office job and get treated like crap, stop going. Like, everybody needs to stop and be like, yo, we need to have a talk about this. Like, we need to figure out what we're doing with this country, because this is ridiculous. Like, now I understand why people just pack up and start walking away from the countries that they live in to come here, because it's actually, that's a move up. Like, for them, it makes sense. Logically, it's just like, okay, so, like, I can work here for nothing, be a peasant indefinitely, or I can just start walking and see if I can do something at this other place where at least the money that I work for is worth something. It's worth something for them because they're coming from a system that is worse than the one that we're currently in. For those of us who grew up and were hatched in America, it's not worth it for us, because we live here. We're not getting any additional benefits because they're giving them to everybody else. Also crazy. I'm not going to participate in that either, because the harder you work, the more you pay for that stuff. It's completely insane. It is completely insane. And, like, I just can't, as a rationally thinking person, when you actually start going through this from a first principles perspective, the premise of going to work in America as an American is completely pointless right now with the game that they've set up. Like, you've set this up so that we can't win. And not only can we not win, it's at our expense that other people get to come here and experience a version of our country that we grew up in, that our families fought for, that we do not get to have at all. And you get to go to work for some jerk off that gets to live their dream in front of you. And then they're just like, yeah, like, I did you a favor by letting you have a job. Like, what? Like, they treat everybody exactly like that. Like, you're an idiot, even though you're not an idiot. And then they gaslight you into thinking that they're doing you some favor for the privilege of you burning your existence out so that they can enjoy theirs. And then the government goes, yeah, also you get to pay for everybody else to have some semblance of that experience that you're not going to have, because we're going to give them benefits. But since you work hard, screw you. Thanks. Also, if you get hurt, the first thing they're doing is looking for your replacement, because you don't matter that much. No one respects the worker here. So why work? And I'm going to close it on that, because that's what we're doing. I'm going to make it so that nobody has to go to work. You can apply the stuff that I'm doing, because you're going to watch me do it. and then you hopefully pick up some tips and pointers that work for you with whatever situation you got, so that you don't have to do it either. Because like I'm not loud quitting, I'm loud revolutioning over here. I don't think anybody should go to work until we get this sorted out, until owners start actually caring about the people that they say they care about, until they start paying people appropriately, until they start at minimum getting in alignment with the reality, not their reality that they live in, the reality that the rest of us live in. I want everybody out of the workforce. And I want us to have the negotiating power to be out of the workforce and be like, we can sit indefinitely because we're still going to eat good. We can go to the gym. We can find other stuff to do. We can work on projects at home. Until and just grind the system to a complete halt. Just be like, cool, we'll all own everything. The only place that's going to be working is Amazon and Tesla with the robots, bro. Shut it all down. Because if you're not gonna value the people who substantiate your existence, that you wouldn't have your existence without those people, then it'll be Amazon with the robots, Tesla with the robots, and Nvidia, because that guy actually cares about his employees and made as many of them rich as he could with them. It's cool. I rock with that. Nvidia deserves employees, and I'm leaving it on that. For everybody else, this has been another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates on Future Financial Strategies. And I'm your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, your leader in this financial exodus, because those of you who adopt the Bitcoin standard are also stating loudly that we quit. We're out of this system. We're done. We're done. We're not going to participate. We're not going to participate any more than we have to. We're going to figure out how to get out. We were seeing cracks in the matrix. We're figuring out how to get out, and we're going to get out, and we can have a conversation about how you can court us into coming back in after we've established ourselves. And until next week, man, I'm out of here. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.